Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the way too early 2020 NCAA tournament predictions. This video is coming out a day after the 2019 NCAA tournament ended, with Virginia holding up the national championship 1 year after losing to UMBC in the first game. It might have been destiny for them to come back and win their first national championship. I think they should have lost to Purdue, and then they should have lost to Auburn, and then they should have lost to Texas Tech too. I mean, they hit their clutch shots and all that, but congratulations to Virginia. But it's a new year. Right now, there's a lot of teams that have players who may or may not go to the draft. Some people have declared, and there's still a couple of recruits who haven't decided where they're going to play yet, like Cole Anthony and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of chalk picks in here, but I'm going to go with some upsets just because I know that some teams are better than the others, and I'm going to use this last season as a baseline before I find out who's all leaving, who is all staying, who's all going to be committing to wherever and all that. So I'm sure there's going to be a couple more videos coming out before the season starts. Maybe later on once all the NBA draft's over and all the recruits have signed and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with that. But this is Joe Lunardi's first bracketology thing for the 2020 NCAA tournament, so why not let it fly? Why not make a video for it? I'm just going to go over some of these seeds and stuff like that. The regions this year are going to be in Indianapolis, New York, Houston, and Los Angeles, which is pretty cool. I might go to the one in Indianapolis or maybe St. Louis down there since I live in Louisville, which is pretty cool to see those great games, Virginia, Purdue, and Tennessee and Purdue in the Louisville region, so that was really great to see. So we'll go ahead and go. The number one seeds are Michigan State, Virginia, Michigan, and Duke. A lot of people are going to be returning, like they announced. Trey Jones is returning for Duke, and I'm sure Cassius Winston's probably going to return for Michigan State. They're projected to be the number one team to start out the next year. Then we got North Carolina, Houston, Kentucky, and Auburn as the 2 seeds. I think those are pretty good as well. As you can see down there, Marquette is a 3, assuming that Marcus Howard is coming back, and Texas Tech is a 7 after making it to the national championship game. A lot of people are going to be upset with that, but they're going to have a lot of people leaving. They had a lot of seniors on this team, and then Jarrett Culver is definitely going to be leaving for the NBA draft. So it's understandable that they'd fall down to a 7 seed, which is still pretty good. And we'll see what kind of happens with that, see what the new recruits do, see what the AP Coach of the Year, Chris Beard, is able to do with his new squad. And we got Gonzaga as a 3 with Marquette, then Iowa and Villanova. Louisville is up to a 5 with Chris Mack in his second year. They have like 6 freshmen coming in, which is crazy to think about. Oregon is now up to a 4 after having to win the conference championship to even make it into the tournament this year. But they made it to the Sweet 16 and surprised a lot of people. Kansas is a 4, as you can see right there, same with Purdue, Iowa State, and Oregon, as I just mentioned. Then the play-in games, I kind of show that. Arizona, Virginia Tech, and then Georgetown and Syracuse. I think Georgetown will play their way into like an actual seed. With Mac McClung, I think they're going to be a lot better this year. They made a pretty decent run coming up there at the end of the season last year. Well, we'll see what happens with that. And then they announced today that Mick Cronin is going to be the coach of UCLA, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there, see if they are able to get some recruits and stuff like that. I'll go and show you guys Joe Lunardi's bubble. Last 4 buys: Dayton, Seton Hall, Arizona State, Kansas State. Last 4 in: Arizona, Virginia Tech, Georgetown, and Syracuse. First 4 out are TCU, Washington, Alabama, and Clemson. And then the next 4 out are Colorado, Davidson, LSU, and Providence. Will Wade probably will not be back for LSU, so that's why they're out of the tournament, as you can see right there. They'll have the talent, but we have no idea what's going to be going on, if people are going to leave the program, if he's going to be definitely fired and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into my picks. As always, that I've done with the bracketology updates throughout the course of the season. I go on bracketfy.com, make the bracket, make it interactive so you guys can go ahead and vote, and this one will be up until like December or something like that, just because it's way too early and nothing's really going to be happening over the next couple months and stuff like that. I'll have NBA playoff predictions, and I'll have like NBA mock drafts and stuff like that. Just for some content for my channel. I'm kind of searching for content at this point. Might do like a dynasty on NCAA Basketball 10. We'll see what happens with that, and do a couple of vlogs for like Churchill Downs races and stuff like that. But that's just something for the future. Without any further ado, let's go and get into my picks. So at first, we will have Michigan State and the winner of Texas Southern and Fairleigh Dickinson, which this is kind of funny how the winner, Fairleigh Dickinson, is going to be playing the winner of that like Southern or like Southland Conference or whatever it was. It was Prairie View A&M this past year, and they had beaten Texas Southern in their conference championship. That's just a little side thing. Michigan State's definitely going to win that matchup. Then I think that Penny Hardaway and Memphis will beat Baylor. Louisville and Chris Mack, I think, would beat New Mexico State. Then Western Kentucky, I can see them winning their conference championship here, but they won't have Charles Bassey. I'm sure he's going to the NBA draft this year. And I think Iowa State gets the victory there. Then I think that Maryland will get the victory over the winner of Arizona and Virginia Tech, not Arizona State. Villanova, I think, will beat Charleston. Texas, I think, would beat Arizona State, and then North Carolina will beat Colgate. Then we have Duke and Trey Jones. I'm sure they got a lot of other people coming. I don't know all their recruits at this point. I'm sure I'm going to get more familiar with them over the course of the summer and then the start of the season. But that's why I'm not really mentioning the recruits' names and stuff like that. Not 100% sure where they're all going and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with it. But I think Duke is definitely going to beat Montana there. Florida will beat Oklahoma, which was the national championship game in my free throw bracket video that I did, which is pretty funny. Then we have Florida State. I think they will beat Liberty. Purdue, I think, would beat Toledo. Then we got VCU beating Kansas State. Gonzaga beating Radford. Seton Hall, I think, would beat Ohio State. And then Auburn would beat North Dakota State. Then we have Virginia beating the winner of Abilene Christian and Norfolk State. Mississippi State, I think, would beat Wisconsin. I know Wisconsin's losing Ethan Happen. I mean, they lost in the first game of the NCAA tournament even with them. Don't know what their team's going to be looking like next year, but I mean, they're already projected to be a 9 seed, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I think Mississippi State gets the victory there. Then, as much as I want to pick Belmont to pull off the upset here, the only reason I would pick them is because of their coach, Rick Bayard or something like that, and Dylan Windler. But both of them are going to be gone after this season. Bayard, the coach, is going to be retiring, and then Dylan Windler is for sure going to be leaving for the draft. He'll probably be like a second-round pick or something like that. That's why I have Creighton winning this matchup. Then we got Oregon beating Harvard, Tennessee beating the winner of Georgetown and Syracuse, which I think would be Georgetown. Then we got Iowa beating Georgia Southern. Dayton, I think, would beat St. Mary's, pulling off the little upset there. And Houston would beat Drake. Then we have Michigan beating Rider. Ole Miss beating Richard Pitino in Minnesota. Then right here, I think Fletcher McGee is going to be leaving. I'm pretty sure he's a senior. Don't know what's going to be happening with the rest of the Wofford team. That's why I'm going to go with NC State right here. Kansas, I think, would beat Vermont. Utah State, with Mick Cronin leaving for UCLA, they're definitely getting the upset right there. Then Marquette would beat Northern Kentucky. Texas Tech, I think, would beat Penn State. Then somebody picked UC Irvine to win here. They're probably just joking and stuff like that. Kentucky's definitely getting the dub there. Then Michigan State and Memphis. I'd like to see Memphis make a run in this tournament with James Wiseman and Penny Hardaway and stuff like that. But they're running into the buzzsaw that will be Michigan State in the course of the next season. I like Michigan State there. Then I like Louisville beating Iowa State here, the 5/4, a little bit of an upset pick. Then we got Villanova and Maryland. I don't know the players that are going to be on Villanova next year because I know that Javon Quinterly guy, I think he's transferring and stuff like that. Kind of see what happens with that. And Maryland, I think, is losing Bruno Fernando. I like Villanova winning that matchup. Then North Carolina, I think, would beat Texas. Duke would beat Florida. Purdue, even though they're losing Carson Edwards. You know what? I'm going to have them lose to Florida State. I like Florida State in that matchup there. Then Gonzaga is traditionally good. They're always going to be there in March. I like Gonzaga beating VCU and then Auburn beating Seton Hall. Then we got Virginia beating Mississippi State. I think Oregon will get the victory there over Creighton. Tennessee and Iowa. Rematch of the second round game where Iowa came back from being down 25 points to almost complete the comeback and beat Tennessee, but they did not. I'm going to go with Tennessee as a 6/3 upset there, same with the other two people who have voted so far. Then we got Houston beating Dayton. Michigan, I think, would beat Ole Miss. Kansas, I think, would beat NC State. Marquette with Marcus Howard would beat Utah State, and then Kentucky would beat Texas Tech. Then for a spot in the what was it? No, this is for the Elite Eight. That was for the Sweet 16. Michigan State and Louisville. These two teams played earlier this season when Louisville beat Michigan State on their home floor. But these two teams are going to be on different trajectories next season. I think Michigan State definitely gets a victory there. Then Villanova and North Carolina. I like North Carolina getting the victory. Duke and Florida State, battle of the ACC teams right here. This was the ACC championship game this past year. I like Duke getting the victory there as a 1 seed. And then Auburn, I think, would beat Gonzaga, though most people are picking Gonzaga there. Auburn came so close to making it to the national championship game. They missed the double dribble call on Todd Jerome, but then Auburn definitely fouled. Yeah, it's just sad. Right? Sad moment right there. But Virginia and Oregon, another rematch of the 2019 NCAA tournament. Virginia won the first time around. I got them winning again. Then Houston, I think, would beat Tennessee. Michigan, I think, would beat Kansas. And then Kentucky would beat Marquette with Marcus Howard. Then I think I have 1 and 2 seeds in like every single region. I'm going with basically all chalk just because they're the better teams at this point. Don't know how it's all going to work out. Michigan State, North Carolina. I like Michigan State getting the victory there. Same with Duke over Auburn. Then I'm going to go with, I'm actually going to go with a little upset pick right here. I'm going to go with Houston over Virginia. Virginia's going to be losing DeAndre Hunter, and I think they're going to be losing Jerome and Guy. Don't quote me on that. I think they're both seniors. I'm not 100% sure, though, so don't quote me on that. The defending national champions, I don't think they'll make it to the Final Four. And we got Houston, so we got Houston beating them. Then I think that Kentucky with John Calipari will make it to the Final Four over Michigan. Then first spot in the national championship game, Duke and Michigan State. I think Michigan State gets a victory there with Cassius Winston. And Kentucky and Houston, I'm going to go with Kentucky. These two teams, this was another rematch from the 2019 NCAA tournament with Kentucky with Tyler Hero beating Houston with like 13 seconds left or something like that. I don't remember what it was. But Kentucky, Harrell's probably going to be gone. But we'll see what happens. Kentucky's always able to replenish their talent pool. I think they get the victory there. But then they lose to Michigan State in the national championship game. Michigan State, they're the number 1 overall seed in the projections for a reason. I think they'll be the best team in the NCAA next season. So that's why I picked them there. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave your own predictions and thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check the link right there to vote in this interactive bracket. This is way too early 2020 NCAA tournament predictions, so don't be bashing me in the comment section for my picks. I just want to hear yours and stuff like that. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all later.